Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to try out another funky mold, and I'm so excited because when this started like going around on Instagram, people started tagging me in all kinds of posts about this mold and messaging me telling me that I had to get this mold, and when I saw it, I had to get this mold. So this is an enormous sunflower mold. So this is by JSmolds, and they are on Instagram and Etsy. They're awesome. They're amazing. They're always coming out with different molds. Actually, I just bought two more. They're like these skeleton hands that are like peace sign, and they have like a middle finger one. They're awesome. Like I said, I had to get this mold, and I feel like as you're looking at it now, you're like, yeah, she had to get that mold because it just makes sense. Me and this mold, we kind of have like, we vibe together. So if you're interested in seeing what we can make with this gigantic sunflower mold, then continue watching. This thing just shook my desk as I put it down. So I was trying to come up with what I could do with this mold, and I think I'm going to use those color shifting pigments that we used not in last week's video but the week before. I'm going to use some of those, like the reds and orangey ones. I think that would be so cool, and there's a lot of detail in each petal. Like you can see each petal. So I'm thinking we could dust each petal like opposite colors, if you know what I mean. So we'll kind of alternate like a reddish, a yellow, a reddish, a yellow to kind of make it look more 3D. And with the color shift, I feel like it'll be so cool because this has so much texture and different like angles to it. I think that the color shifting pigments will make this look amazing. But for some reason, I don't just want to stop there. I kind of want to do something else with it. So I'm thinking of making two. I want to do the color shift, and then I also kind of wanted to do alcohol inks, and I was thinking of not using white alcohol ink. So the white alcohol ink makes the inks, the colored inks, drip down to the very front of the piece. But I'm kind of thinking if I don't do white alcohol ink, it'll almost look like a stained glass look. So I was thinking of doing like the lightest dusting of glitter. I know you're rolling your eyes. I'm sorry. It's just, I love glitter. So for the color shifting ones, we are going to be using the Eye Candy Pigments color shifting pigments that we used in a previous video. I will kind of take out the ones that are like the red. Maybe we'll do like a pinkish one as well, but like the red and yellow ones. I also have some really, really pretty, almost color shifting pigments. They're called Chameleon Mica, and these are from CounterCultureDIY. They're gorgeous. They're so pretty. So I think we're gonna use those as well. Okay, so we are going to get dusting on this gigantic beauty, and then we will pour some resin. Oh, I didn't even think, should I mix in black or no? Maybe we'll mix in, we're not going to do black. I'll obviously show you guys which color I go with. We're not going to do black this time. So we're going to dust, and then we'll pour. Okay, so dusting that mold literally took me like an hour. There are a lot of petals in there. So anyway, dusted, and then we poured. I did try to mix these two like colors together, the pink and the yellow, to kind of make an orangey color. It is more of like a peach, but I like it. So everything is dusted and poured, so now we're gonna wait 24 hours to pop it out tomorrow, and then tomorrow we will get going on the other style of sunflower that we're gonna do. So I will see you guys 24 hours. Okay, so what we didn't plan on was having 2 of these dusted sunflowers. So we'll just talk about the mistakes that were made in this very first one that I did. So when I popped this out, I'm sure you noticed the bubbly, weird texture on the back of it. That is because I used a faster curing resin, and when you pour faster curing resins in like a large amount, it gets way too hot, way too fast, and it starts to do this. Okay, so the reason I did another dusted sunflower is because with this one, we did all orange, like I colored the resin orange, and I felt like with the front of it and all of the pigments we used, it kind of affected how the pigments performed, and it made it like a base color of orange. And I used a bunch of different pigments that I felt like should have, you know, given us like a variety of colors. But everything is like base color, peachy orange. So I wanted to redo it because I know that color shifting pigments and pigments like that do better with like a black base. So that's what we did with the other one, and also I used a slower curing resin, and so the back of this piece is much better. So I did use a black base for this one, and I was hoping that it was going to like let us see the pigments better, and it definitely does. Like, it's kind of crazy that both of these have the same pigments, because like this one obviously is, you know, it's based very dark colors, and because of the black, and this one is very pinkish peachish because of the base. But it's just crazy that both of these have the same dusted pigments on there and they look entirely different. Okay, so now before we talk about like which ones are our favorites, we are going to pour some more resin, and I'm going to try to do more of like a stained glass look with alcohol inks. So I'm going to mix up some casting resin, and then I will probably be pouring resin just in the very center of this and not in the rest of the petals. I'm going to try to concentrate the resin right here first and do some brown inks. And I want to focus all the brown right in the center because I don't want the brown to bleed into the rest of the piece. Okay, so that is my plan of action. I'm going to get started on mixing some resin and then we will get into this. Okay, so we've just poured the rest of the stained glass, hopefully the stained glass styled one, and I did the inks in it, so we're gonna let that cure. Honestly, what I was gonna do with this piece was I was kind of thinking of trying that bowl technique. If any of you have seen that before, it's where you like take a piece out before it's fully cured so it's still kind of like bendable, and you'd like drape it over a bowl, and then once it's fully cured you peel it off and it's a bowl. So I was gonna try it with this one, but I'm really interested to see how this comes out, and I don't know if the bowl technique will work. So I'm gonna let this one cure, we'll pop it out tomorrow, and then we're gonna do another one because I'm absolutely ridiculous and I have to try the bowl thing because I feel like a bowl in the shape of a sunflower would be really, really pretty. So I'm gonna let this cure, we're gonna pop it out tomorrow, and then we will also start another one. We're gonna have like 4 of these sunflowers by the time this video is done. Hopefully 4, not 5. So I will come back to you guys in 24 hours when we will pop this out, and then we will also start the hopefully sunflower bowl. This is like gonna be like the longest video. This mold is just so cool. So, this was ridiculous. I battled with this thing for so long to try to figure out a way to drape one of these sunflowers over like the backside of a bowl. I tried tying it to the backside of the bowl. I tried a bunch of different stuff until I got to this, and I don't even know if this worked, but we're about to find out. Okay, so we're gonna take out the teal bowl. Imagine if this actually worked. I mean, like, not that it's, you know, it would be the craziest thing for this to have worked. It feels like it worked. Oh my god, it feels like it worked. Okay, it's like we're unwrapping a present together. Somehow a toothpick got in there. It's a little lopsided, but it's a sunflower bowl. And some of the tips are a little squished, you know? So like these tips here are a little bit squished, but that's okay. It's a bowl, and you can see here how this side should have been pushed up a little bit more. It was very difficult for me to shove this thing in the bowl center so that it would, you know, kind of like be perfectly rounded. And obviously I didn't get it to be perfectly rounded, but honestly, I feel like it's rounder than I thought it was gonna be. Like, look at it go. Again, lopsided, a little lopsided, but for the first time of trying to make a bowl out of something, out of resin that is still kind of curing, I feel like this is pretty good. The technique was a little ridiculous, a little bit wacky, but we actually got there, and I totally didn't think we were going to, because this was just so difficult to do. So the reason that this was so difficult is because the resin, like, this is a really thick piece. They're not, you know, like thin. I mean, I guess they're not like the thickest, but they're also not very thin. And a lot of the like bowl techniques I've seen use molds that are all the same, like, you know, thickness, and they're pretty thin. So this is a bunch of different thicknesses. It's very textured, and in the very center, it cured so much faster than out like along the petals. I was able to pull out the sunflower. Like, these were still squishy, but this center was super cured already. So that's why it was so difficult to like bend it enough so that it would cup and be a bowl still. So I don't know, I'm surprised. It's not perfect, obviously. I do want to play with it, you know, play with this kind of technique, but I don't know if this mold is good for it, but it did work. So actually, you know what I'm thinking is, I think a different kind of resin would work. Since we were still able to get it to work a little bit, I think that an even slower curing resin would probably work better. I don't know. I'm gonna probably play around with that because I love this. So that is our sunflower bowl. I'm gonna show you guys some clips of this in the sun and sitting on a table and everything so that we can kind of see it close up. So we made 4 different sunflowers. We made 4, and I remember at the beginning of this video I said we would be making 2 and hopefully we don't have to make 4 or 5. We ended up making 4. So these are the 2 dusted ones, and then the alcohol ink one where I was trying to do like a stained glass look, and then our bowl. So let me know which one of these is your favorite. Needless to say, this mold is a lot of fun. Like, I set out to do 2 different pieces and I ended up doing 4 because this mold is so fun to play with. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel and following me on Instagram. It is at Artsymadwoman. I love you guys so freaking much, and I will see you on the next video. Goodbye. If you see my eyes darting this way a lot, it's because there's bees making a bee's nest right at the very corner of the roof up here, so that's like right outside my window. Love that.